As the door shut on my bedroom the very first night, I thought, that's it. That's the door of my life closing. This is where I'm going to spend the rest of my life. Somebody with acquired brain injury does not need to live in these conditions.
Aged 18, James was assaulted and thrown to the ground from 4.5 metres high, leaving him confined to this wheelchair.
I'm struggling with where I live. It's not home.
Sam's been severely disabled for the most part of her life. Recently, she suffered a stroke, leaving her unable to communicate unaided.
Hey, gorgeous girl. How you going?
Kirby was admitted to hospital about 14 months ago to have a tumour on her brain removed. She subsequently suffered a series of strokes, leaving her profoundly disabled, in need of constant care.
She couldn't swallow at all at the start. She's now swallowing and learning to swallow, but she can't manage any of her saliva. So if the saliva went down into her lungs, she would get pneumonia and possibly die.
Kirby, Sam and James are just 3 of a growing number of young people with disabilities forced to live in nursing homes because there's nowhere else they can call home. And what they endure is distressing.
They feel trapped. Young people with disabilities don't have the care that they should have. They should be having long-term care in a place where they can have their peers around them.
I met a young person recently and she said to me, "Today's a beautiful day." And I said, "Why is that?" And she said, "I got to see the outside of the nursing home today." It had been a full 12 months and she'd not even seen the outside.
It can be very confronting here. A lot of noises, a lot of smells, things going on that they wouldn't be used to.
People completely withdraw, they want to stay in bed, they don't see any reason to get up, and they struggle with depression. Some people have talked to us about becoming suicidal and wanting to end their lives.
I see it a lot in patients that are isolated, that don't have visitors, that have very limited interactions with other people.
The average age of a nursing home resident is 84. There are more than 6,500 young people stuck in aged care right now.
Over 80% never get out to visit their own friends. 50% don't even get people visiting them in the homes, their friends. And, you know, they have to live the life of an old person.
So much sadness. Every friend you made be going, gone.
Young people end up in aged care for a number of reasons, but predominantly it's because there's nowhere else for them to go.
Between the health system, the disability service system and also housing, there's just not enough accessible and affordable housing for people with disabilities.
And tragically, a lot of them do need very specific rehabilitation and other health support, which simply is not available in an aged care facility.
Senator Linda Reynolds is spearheading a Senate inquiry into the adequacy of residential care for young people with disabilities. With more than 150 submissions from across Australia, many of the personal accounts given at the inquiry paint a grim picture. James, Kirby, Sam and their families all gave evidence.
Sam, what's the hardest thing for you having to live in this nursing home?
Often I want to cry, but there isn't anywhere to do it. Often the nurses are too few. The future is so uncertain and I just want to feel at home.
What do you think about when you're all alone here in your room? What goes through your mind?
Dying.
Suicide was in my mind for many, many moons. It just still gets me really shaky, scares absolute Christ out of me. I just feel the pain.
Kirby, how does it make you feel living in a nursing home with very sick, elderly people?
Trapped. Bored.
Where would you like to be?
I'd love to see a world where people with disability have real choice about where and how they live their lives. So how long have you been working on this one?
Few.
Just a few hours. Yeah, I can tell you, I could be fast, but it wouldn't look anything like that.
Dr. Di Winkler and Carolyn Finnis run the Summer Foundation, an advocacy group dedicated to keeping young people with disabilities out of aged care. The organisation's submission to the Senate inquiry details cases of people who were admitted to nursing homes in their teens and stuck there for more than 20 years.
What's absolutely heart-wrenching is listening to the families, because you imagine what it's like for a mother or a father to have to put their 25-year-old into a nursing home and going into that facility day after day, fighting to get rehabilitation, proper nutritional support and everything else. It's utterly devastating what those parents have to go through.
Hold on to the bars. The other one on. Left one on. Okay. Standing up.
Nothing's prepared me for what this is. This is really scary, it's desperate and lonely. It's earth-shattering to us as a family.
Left. Good. Good.
Very good.
Oh, excellent. Now weight on your left and put right forward. Excellent.
Coming here every day, 2 or 3 times a day, it's very depressing. There are many times I come and the van's out the front to collect a body and I see them wheeling out the person. That's very difficult to see. It's not the right environment for a young person.
Foot down. Okay.
I wonder what she'll be like. I wonder how far she'll go. I wonder if she'll be able to live independently.
Independence for young people with disabilities is not out of reach, a feeling 20-year-old Bree knows well.
I've always tried to avoid being in nursing homes because it's not appropriate. It's almost like saying you're too hard to deal with, so we're just going to seclude you from society.
The place that Bree's living in really meets a previously unmet need. What we're really keen to do is to demonstrate that this model of housing really works and it is a viable alternative.
There are 6 apartments peppered throughout a larger development where 6 people with disabilities live in the apartments, and then there's also a space where disability support workers provide 24-hour on-call support, and there's smart home technology and communications technology so people can be as independent as possible in their own unit, but also let staff know when something goes wrong or when they need some help.
At the moment I'm using this app. It makes my apartment unique because it opens all my gates and doors and it helps me throughout my daily life.
Developing the volume of housing that's really needed to address this problem. It has the potential to really be rolled out on a large scale.
James recently moved into his own custom-built apartment, giving him freedom like never before.
I do feel anger towards the government that are not building facilities or groups of units for young people living in nursing homes.
With the current Senate inquiry, we're really calling on the federal government to provide strong leadership so that the health sector, the disability sector and housing, and also aged care actually work together in a coordinated fashion to solve the issue of young people in nursing homes.
The federal government is introducing the National Disability Insurance Scheme to massively increase the amount of money available to support people with disability and in particular young people in aged care facilities.
Assistant Minister for Social Services Mitch Fifield is responsible for overseeing the rollout of the NDIS. Young people in aged care will qualify for funding under the new scheme, but even with additional resources, the lack of affordable and appropriate housing is still the biggest hurdle. The Senate inquiry will report back to Parliament in June.
You've done really well.
Kirby, what is it that you hope for? What do you hope for your life?
Go back to work.
She's a teacher in a special school, so she works with children with disabilities.
My hope has been a bit crushed, but all I want now is a group home with people I like and to be close to cities so I can continue my studies and be with my friends and building my art career.
We should be included. We should be integrated in normal everyday living.
We're getting you out. Young people in residential aged care. I'm going to push each year. There'll be more and more and more getting out. I promise you that.